So I want to talk to you guys about how to connect in a real way, sort of how to use some of the tools that are already available to you, and then how to spread your message and really get across to the person who it is that you are trying to speak to on social media. So my first thing to tell you is that you aren't speaking to y'all, you aren't speaking to you guys, you aren't speaking to we. When you post, you want to be really clear that you're speaking to one person. And so it might be the person you talk to in your head. It might be your best girlfriend. It might be whoever it is. Maybe it's the way you speak to your husband. I'm not trying to talk to men in my post. I'm always trying to talk to ladies. But you wouldn't say, hey, ladies. You would say, you, or girl, or babe, or whoever. But you want to be very specific about who it is that you're talking to. And so then I have some suggestions about what you can do to get there. So there are a couple of tools I would point to you. Both of them are on our Dynamic Force team page. One is our Dynamic Force planner. I think it is labeled Badass Planner. And so it marches out for you day by day some suggested content, including going live. And so you want some health and fitness posts. You want some pure engagement posts, which is just anything you think is interesting or would add to the dialogue or answer conversation, like potty training advice is what's listed in the planner. But like, I did one recently about, should I get a day bed with a trundle or a twin bed, or should I go bigger, or what do I do? My kid's ready for the next step of bed. Like something that you legitimately have a question about. Maybe it's a question you would normally ask your girlfriends or your mom or the people at work. Ask Facebook. And it's okay to say, ask Facebook. People will be like, ooh. People also really love to give their opinion on engagement posts. So I'm trying to decide between this bathing suit and this bathing suit, or I'm packing for a big trip, I've got limited space. Should I take this outfit or should I take this outfit? Well, you might have already made up your mind. That's okay. But ask people for their opinion. They will feel like they know you better. Then when they see your outfit on your trip, you could tag them in the picture and be like, hey girl, thanks for suggesting it. So it's just simple ways to engage with the people. So when I posted the picture of my daughter, I went back to the post with daybeds, where people suggested daybeds. I just wrote down their names. And when I posted a picture of her in her new bed, I tagged them in the post in a comment and was like, thank you so much for the suggestion. Isn't it adorable? Right? That automatically drew all those people to my page organically. And I didn't do it. I did it to legitimately thank them. Right? So there's simple ways you can engage with people. Breadcrumb posting. So there's coaching breadcrumb posts. And so what I would say is that you really have to know who you are and who you're talking to in order to engage with your network and start sort of connecting with them. But I don't think you need to make it complicated. On the Dynamic Force page, Kelly posted it. You can find it in the photos. We can save it as a file this evening. And Andrea has posted it in the Misfit page. It's something called 22 Days of Coaching. And so you could get real with yourself. They're really basic breadcrumb posts that you could really get real with yourself and use them as journal prompts is what I did. I took those, I used them as journal prompts, and then I edit them as I post them. And I don't do it really complicated. I really think it actually helps me as a person sort of develop my voice. And so the way you would write those posts are, I used to, or before I, now I, and I got here by, right? But you don't want every breadcrumb post to be like, I used to do this. Now I'm this great person. I got here with Beachbody. No. People are going to be like, ew. right? You might say, I feel X, Y, and Z, right? Say how you feel now. I felt, I feel really connected to an amazing tribe of women who has my back for my health and fitness. I feel so supported. I feel connected. I feel like I belong. I felt alone. I felt overwhelmed by knowing what to eat. I felt disgusting and uncomfortable in my body. I felt ashamed that I was so sweaty and out of breath when I tried to work out. I felt like a failure. I've found a success club full of women ready to help me using really simple fitness and nutrition, right? That's effective. But I wasn't like, beach body, beach body, beach body, join my challenge group, right? Because people are going to be like, huh, right? The idea is to create hype around what you're doing and curiosity around what you're doing without being like, I just finished 80-day obsession. Want to see my abs? Right? If you go back and look at the most successful coaches, maybe they've been coaches for a really long time and maybe that works for them. And maybe you need to unfollow them. Because what works for Amy Silverman and what works for Raina Odell and what works for anybody that's been in the top 10, they built their business, most of them, other than Maura, years ago. And so they have these huge bases of people who already know that they used those tools, right? But we're all newer to the business and we need to go with the flow, and that means not being like beach body, beach bars, beach body, and sharing the images. We need to share our story. Our story will be what attracts people to be curious about the products. We talk about products and private messages, right? Because if you're out there with what it is, they will Google it, they will find it, and they will buy it from somebody else. And then you'll have to do a coach change form. You don't get the SD points. Get the credit for your work by being a little mysterious. Yeah, use curiosity marketing. If you don't know what it is, go on YouTube and type in curiosity marketing Shailene Johnson. What will come up is the video of her presenting at Summit last year. And it's a little shaky, but it's so good. Other ways I've posted in breadcrumb posts is to do it as a before and after. The old me, or the girl on the left. So I'm not going to call anybody out, but I will tell you guys have girl on the left versus girl on the right and done it backwards. People on our team, and I'm like, let me send you a little message. You know you got right and left backwards. So you do have to be careful when you do it. But you can say the girl on the left, the girl on the right. You can compare. What you really want to do is compare and contrast in whatever way feels natural to you by really making that older person who you used to be. You're speaking to that person who needs your help. What did you need to hear when you reached out to whomever is helping you? And then that's what you say. What was the pain? Have you gotten there? Have you really gotten to that vulnerable place with people on your social media? And maybe it wasn't a huge pain point. Maybe it was something simple, but it was enough for you to change. So it's going to be enough for somebody else to change. You guys, I'm going to say it, and I'll go live tomorrow. But going live changes everything. Whether it's on your, I don't feel like you've gone live in a while either. Let's do it together, Bill. You got it.
I will tell you this. I have to be in the right mood for going live.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Stressful couple weeks. Well, I haven't gone live in a long time, but I think I've let Instagram stories kind of take place of my live on Facebook. But I have a really big following on Facebook, and that's where 95% of my people come from. So I tend to neglect them. But I will tell you, I did go live a lot back from like October until, 2 months ago. It's been stressful, had some long days. But you're right. I've been thinking about it myself, and I'm like, I need to go live on Facebook. I haven't gone live in a while. I went live a few weeks ago about facing your fears, and it was about singing at church. So it wasn't anything about Beachbody related or fitness or anything. It was literally about facing your fears and just getting the hell over it and doing the damn thing. And that's what's important about going live. I know Laura's going to tell you guys about it, but it doesn't have to be about Beachbody. You can people just want to get to know you.
Please don't go live about Beachbody.
Yeah. Yeah. But
please don't go live about Beachbody necessarily, right? That's not curiosity. They'll scroll back on your page and be like, oh, she's selling me a challenge pack. Let me Google challenge pack. What's a challenge pack?
Fun. Use it for fun.
Yeah, live is where you go fun. Live is also where you go live at live events where all your friends are. So when we're all together at Summit, we'll go live like a mother, but I'm not going to be like, I'm live from Beachbody Summit, right? Like that's what you post in the album later. So please look at the yeah, I'm live with my girls. I'm live. I cannot believe I'm meeting these people who've been in my success club all year long, and now we're celebrating our success together. Want to see our abs? Just kidding. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have fun with it. Instagram Live, Facebook Live will blow up your following. You have got to. It's a non-negotiable in my book. You have got to, unless, so for those of you who stalk me, which I hope you don't, I hope you stalk yourself, I didn't post progress pictures every week of 80-day obsession. And the week before I posted my final progress, I bet 15 people messaged me and were like, hey, where's your progress photos? Hey, where's your progress photos? You posted in a post that said you had one more week of phase 3. And I would just respond, stay tuned. Peak week loading. And they'd be like, what's peak week, right? They didn't know. They hadn't Googled it. They didn't know. And so post a progress picture every week, and you want to thank the person. Everybody who likes, everybody that comments is now your conversation for that week. It makes your power hour so simple because you're genuinely thanking people for supporting you. Man, could you use more support too? Or are you on a fitness journey too? It literally gives you the opportunity to thank someone and invite them in the same message. And I love a hey girl, I love a happy birthday, but it gives you that opportunity to really say thank you more please to the person and thank you more please to the universe, right? Every time you thank someone for following those posts. So I want to give you a few other tips about ways to sort of organize what you do so that people can connect with you. Is everybody using Instagram stories? Lindsay, is Instagram on your platform for you or no? You're muted. No, you're fine.
I'm really not focused on Instagram because I'm not comfortable on it. So I've been just really staying where I'm comfortable until I get to that point.
All right, so then I'm going to start with Facebook because you're not on Instagram, and that's totally fine. There are coaches who build their business on Pinterest. It really doesn't matter your platform as long as you're connecting with people.
Right.
Use Facebook albums if you don't use Instagram especially, so that if somebody's like, oh, look at her progress, they can literally, when they click on the picture and they click next, they'll see all of your progress posts and they'll see your consistency. I've never done that. I just read about it, figuring out what to do for tonight's team call, and I was like, right? Like, how many of you post a quote every day or every few days on Facebook, right? I do it every day on Instagram, but I don't do it every day on Facebook. And wouldn't it be cool if when I shared them, they all went to a quotes page, a quotes album, right? Right? So simple. So I would have a fitness one. If you love to cook, I would have a nutrition or meal planning one. I would have an album for your family, an album for the 5 things, your 5 things. And most people have 4 to 6 things that they want people to know about me. So I am fun, family, fun shines is my fun, right? Fitness and nutrition. And all of my boating adventures go in that stuff, right? And I like a girl gang, I wrote it down. So then like all of my dance and all of my dynamic force stuff would be in my girl gang album so they can see I'm a girl's girl, right? Like this girl really likes girls. Girls don't usually like girls. What's she doing that's different? Why don't I have any girlfriends? How do I get girlfriends like her, right? And you need to do the same thing with your Instagram highlights. Who's using Instagram stories? Everybody that's on Instagram should be using Instagram stories, right? Ingrid, you guys all crush your Instagram stories, right? So the Beachbody has said that your Instagram story every day should contain 3 things: that you're a product of the product, and that doesn't mean it has to be you work holding up a Shakeology every day or holding up your Energize every day. It might be you with your Energize under your arm and it's labeled lightning in a bottle or magic go-go juice or liquid sunshine. Whatever it is you want to call it.
Juice.
No excuse juice. Magic unicorn energy. Whatever you want to call it. You could just label the bottle that. If you go back and look at my Instagram stories, you will never see the Shakeology on my Shakeology shaker cup. It's always to the back. And people are always like, I get a question a week. What kind of shaker cup is that? And I send them a picture of my, it's Shakeology. I drink it every day. Have you heard of it? It's wonderful, right? They're initiating the conversation. But you have to attract the people with a little curiosity, right? If I was holding that cup up and they could read it, they just Google it. I wouldn't get to tell them how it stopped my migraines and my daily diarrhea and helps me manage my anxiety, right? I wouldn't get to do that. They would Google it and see it's got 70 ingredients and protein. They'd be like, another protein weight loss shake. I don't want it, right? But I get to tell them my story when they don't see it. So albums on Facebook, highlights on Instagram stories. How often are you like, I crushed that story, right? Or how often are you like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever about the Priority Me project. I am so proud of them. Do you have a Priority Me project highlights reel? Right? Do you have a girl gang highlights reel that's like you and all your girls and whatever you do together and maybe a picture or 2 of a team call? Do you have a highlight reel, whatever those 5 albums or 4 albums would have been on Facebook, whatever your 5 things are, that would be what your highlights are on Instagram. If you need to add a cover to your Instagram highlights so it does not look like a 3rd grader made your Instagram page, you can do it on Canva under Instagram story. It's not hard. I am not a genius and I figured it out. And I fixed mine and gave Kelly hers in like 3 minutes. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. But you need to mix it up. Yeah, you need to know your 5 things about you. Where I missed that. What'd you miss, Ingrid? She's like, where? I missed it. How? Where? I missed that. Highlight picture. Yeah, Ingrid, if you go to, on Canva, you missed it on Canva. I'll show you guys. Does everybody use Canva?
No.
It's free. Download it.
Okay.
So it's a separate app?
Yeah, it's an app. But there's a template called Your Story.
Oh,
and you can touch it and change the image and upload whatever you want. So
much better than just plain solid colors.
Yeah, that's how people get cool looking Instagram stories. Yeah, it's so much better than like the text on Instagram stories, right? But you can literally have a template for your story, and it can be, it didn't load, but it can be whatever it is, however you phrase Priority Me Project, like the things that you bullet about it, and then just change the image behind it whenever you want to. And you can do that to make cover highlights. So I'm gonna go to mine because I know I have them, not because I think my Instagram page is amazing or anything. So see, my covers all look similar. They're not all exactly the same. Because this is the Dynamic Force, and it's a white emblem, and then this is Priority Me Project, and if you touch it, I'm like, look, I gave away some earrings. Why haven't you joined us? Here we are working out together, you know, like basic, it's nothing earth-shattering. I don't think I'm some kind of expert. And you need to have a post a week that really tells people who you are. If you had a mic and you could shout to the person you were before you started this journey, what would you tell her? If you had a mic, what would you say? What would you shout? What would you shout to the world? What would you shout to the girl you were before you started this journey? And you should just have one of those posts. You don't have to schedule it. It might come up while you're in the bathroom, or you might think of it while you're in the shower. But you should have a consistent message that you're telling that person. What's your question? How do I post? Do those stories on Canva work for Facebook too? I would assume so, because the Facebook stories and Instagram stories are the same pixels. How do you guys get workout videos without showing you pressing play and pause? You can do two things. You can use a timer and edit the video. Or on Instagram stories, I'm like 85 things deep in a post, but on Instagram stories, there's a hands-free, and if you hold it down, you have 3 seconds. So that's how I do most of my videos. I don't use Facebook stories. Does anybody know if Facebook stories has that? Do you guys know? I'm looking now. Normal text and live. Yeah, I don't know how you do it on Facebook. I'm sorry. But I can do it. What kind of phone do you have?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can also just do it on your camera and then just trim the video.
Someone said on the 80-Day Obsession group they have a remote for their phone.
I have a remote, but I don't use it. So yes, I sometimes have used a remote, but I like drop the remote and it's got to be on Bluetooth, and then my Bluetooth might be hooked to something else, and it doesn't work for me. I have a squirrel brain. I just use a timer on my video. I'm kind of basic. Where's my Starbucks? Just kidding. Does anybody have any questions? All right, I want to talk. Do you guys have 2B mindset questions? Is the other thing. I said I was going to tell you how I'm going to launch 2B mindset. I am literally going to talk about, I'm going to talk about my fears. For those of you who did 80-Day Obsession, are you a little bit terrified you're going to gain some weight back and lose your results? No? All right, well, that's how I'm. Everybody's like,
Well, I'm not terrified. I expect it because I'm not being diligent. Yeah. But a little concerned.
so that's one of the things I'm going to share this week. Like, I used to finish a program and do whatever I want to. now I'm trying to go program to program, but I know transitioning into the summer, that's going to be really hard because I'm going to want to hang out and have all of the picnic food. And so in May, I'm going to try to think about food a little differently and really work on my mindset around food. Do you want to do that with me? Right, because we're getting ready to go into a time where it's like Thanksgiving. You can't pay some people to not eat a hot dog. Good, eat a hot dog. Beat my child. What is going on with her? Can you hear her? But I'm going to tell my story. And if you don't have a huge mindset shift around nutrition, have you guys thought about what you should do with your guy challenger? Yes, I'm going to talk to you about that. I think you should run a challenge group with him. There's a lot of dudes that need a challenge group right now, and we just need somebody in the team to step up and run the men's challenge group. You're muted.
Is there more than just one guy that, like, it wouldn't just be me and him?
I know Ashley Mosier has somebody, but we can ask in the team page.
Okay.
I think I would just ask in the team page, does anybody else have any male challengers? I know Laura Ogle has had some in the past, but I don't know how active they are.
Yeah, and I think that because we want it to be an engaging group and not 3 people.
Right.
So if we don't have enough within Dynamic Force, that's certainly something we need to reach out to Misfit in general.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of groups that are like ours where we just don't want a lot of dudes in our Priority Me project group just because it's like a safe place where we're all posting pictures of.
I agree.
You know, so we can see if you guys all have people who are interested that are males. Like we've run fitness couples challenges before, and some of those men from those challenges Randy and I ran are still interested in doing it. So, and I think Randy would be interested in potentially helping to host, but he's not going to host it if people aren't commenting and engaging.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's going to turn him away from the business, which I don't want to do.
Right. So,
well, I wasn't even expecting, like, he came out of nowhere and I was like, oh shit, what do I do with this guy?
So the other person to ask just directly would be Jessica Ferry, because her husband and brother-in-law, and then I would suggest you first post in the Dynamic Force team page and ask if people have truly engaged challengers. And if you do, Randy's in that group. He will see that people have male challengers, and we can tag him once we know there's at least 10 men that would be engaged. And then I think when Lift 4 comes out,
yeah,
we will have definitely enough people. Yeah, Randy would be amazing at running that group, but it's got to feel organic. We can't just be like
force it.
Yeah. Oh, Randy, we have a bunch of guys. We like be their coach. I'm gonna get all the financial benefit, but will you coach them? So that's kind of what I had to say. Yeah, and I don't feel like we would be like, and Randy, here you go, all by yourself, right? Like, I don't know if dudes would want us in a group with them, right? Like, we'd have to put them in the group and then be like, do you want girls in this group, or do you want to talk about dude stuff? I don't even know what they talk about. They would only hear like jock itch or nipple chafing. I don't know what you talk about. And dude, do they talk about jock straps like we talk about sports bras? No? You don't know, Laura. I don't know either.
Who doesn't wear jock strap?
No, I know that.
Insanity Max 30, he's not wearing a jock strap in my basement.
No, I was just joking. But we don't know what they would want. Like, we'll have to talk to our husbands. My husband's like, I would not. Dudes don't want support. And I'm like, well, you don't have a locker room to go hang out in. So, like, what would we call it? Like the locker room?
We leave it up to them.
Dynamic Force locker room?
No, we don't try to force a name on it. We just let them.
No, that's what I mean is like they would have to.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to organically come from dudes.
Yeah.
Alicia,
would Joe get involved in the dude group?
No. My husband's the same way. He's like,
I'm working on him.
dude support? He's like, I don't need support.
Man stuff.
Talk about they'll talk about fishing lures and
Tell him to follow Randy's 4 a.m. fitness.
what?
I said, tell Joe to follow Randy's 4 a.m. fitness.
I don't think he's on Instagram.
Oh.
You on Instagram?
But he is. Oh, I thought he was.
Are you on Instagram or do you just have an Instagram account? You're muted, Alicia.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Is he on Instagram or does he have an Instagram account?
Well, if you love motorcycles, you should follow my husband.
Oh. Let's leave that for the dude group. My husband loves kayak fishing. He would love to hear about your motorcycles, though, I'm sure. Does anybody have any like, hey, what do I do about this? I think that the truth is that you have to get vulnerable so that people will identify with you. Nobody wants to see your highlight reel.
That's all I have on the highlight reel.
What did he say?
Ridiculous.
Beard is cracking me up, too.
Oh, I'm not on mute.
No. Oh, goodness.
And it's a recorded team call. So there's that.
You guys are crushing. So many of you guys are crushing it on social media, but I just knew there were some tools you could use that would like prompt you to take it next level. Like,
yeah. You guys can all unmute at this point. I want to say too, just a caveat off of what Laura was talking about. She was talking about what makes you different, what makes you, what sets you apart from the other people in this business who are doing this. And I think one thing that I had to really sit down and really evaluate about myself for coaching, because I'm sharing my life on social media, was, when I started, I was like, I'm not special. I'm not unique. I'm just a mom like other moms who has had some struggles with losing some weight. And I don't think that that's special. But when you start to really think about things that you do in your day, and things that you identify with, then that's what you start to share, if that makes sense. Don't overcomplicate it, but just sit down, take 10 minutes this weekend and just give yourself a blank piece of paper and just write down things that you like, things that you're attracted to, things that you feel like make you you. And not about coaching, not about anything in particular. Just be free about it. And those are the things that you should start to look at about what you're sharing about you. And it's going to be funny as you get more comfortable with sharing different aspects of your life. You're going to realize, I used to obsess over a post for like a day. At least 24 hours. I was like, oh, I don't know if I should post this. Oh my God. I don't know if I worded it correctly. You're not going, Lindsay?
You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person.
Right.
The person you're speaking to is going to hear your message.
So now when I go to make a post, literally Laura Franklin, the post I just made, if you guys look at my Facebook, Franklin was texting me like, hey, I need you to log in because the host needs to log in for the team call. And I was like, oh, okay, give me a second. Cause I was literally typing up a post and just hit post. I don't think twice. I don't worry about who's going to see it, who's going to read it. When I first started coaching, I would have been covered in sweat, shaking, having Randy having to take my phone because I was like, oh my God, I just posted a picture of my belly. Now I don't give up because who's going to see that isn't going to get something from it?
They don't like you. They'll just unfollow you.
Yeah. And you know what? If they don't like it, they're either going to unfollow me or follow me because they have a problem within themselves.
Mhm.
They realize that, and they're going to keep watching.
Can I ask a question about followers? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You're kind of choppy.
Oh, probably my. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So on Instagram, is there any way to know who's following you that you're following? Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I get like all these requests of people following me, and then like I go back and my followers numbers have gone down. I think they do it so that you follow them back, and then they unfollow you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can pay for a service, which I think I'm going to start doing next month. It will just unfollow the people for you.
That you're following.
But
Good idea.
you should write down who you're following and go back and make sure they're following you. I track who I follow, and then I go and engage on their page. And then if I just go to my followers, and if they didn't follow me back after a week, I just go unfollow them.
So because, and I don't know if this was the pure coincidence, but Andrea started following me on Instagram, and the same day she followed me, I got like a million time to go and write everybody down, so I just followed back. But then the number started to drop after that, so I think that people are just following for me to follow them, and then once I follow them, then they unfollow. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't know if there was a way to figure that out. And I'm going to mute my phone now because my daughter's crying. And
if you look on your followers, you can see who you like. I don't follow all of these people that are blue. I don't follow them back.
I do think that there's probably some sort of service that does that for free for you. You just got to do some research. None of us have used that before, but do some research and see what you can find. There's probably some stuff out there that will track your followers and who you're following, if they're following you back, and if they're not, then you can unfollow them. Because what you don't want what you don't want with your profile is to have a situation where you have 400 people following you and you're following 2,000.
Oh.
Then you start to look like a weirdo.
Yes, I don't want that.
I'm not the advice person to get information from for Instagram following because I'm paying the company. I'll be honest. I'm at a point with my business, I'm making enough money that I believe in putting 50% of my income and my business into my business. So part of that is my Shakeology for both of us, our performance.
Okay.
And then the rest of it I'm putting into the business for stuff for my customers. I'm putting it into a service that is following people for me. So I've grown from 500 followers, which I struggled to improve that number for months, and struggled with my power hours was consumed with trying to find people that had the same hashtags. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have the time for this. So I paid a company and I'm almost at like 3,500 or something. I don't even know. But I will tell you, those companies are flawed because those companies do not discriminate against dudes. So I've gotten a lot of, hey, sexy, and then I have to do a lot of blocking every day. But they're not without flaws. But I can tell you for sure, the top Beachbody coaches who have like thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of followers, they used a company to pay for that shit because you can tell.
What company do you use?
I'm using Social Flight. It's a monthly, like no contract. I'm paying by month. It's $150 a month. And I am mostly satisfied with it, but Heather Lee Johnson uses a different company. I'll go back and figure out what it is. And that's the same one Andrea uses. And I think I might check out the one they're using next month just to see if it's any different and if I like it. Yeah, it's not without its flaws, but it's certainly, I want the swipe up option. I want to be able to put in my Instagram stories, join my next challenge group, swipe up, boom. So organic followers on Instagram is not my thing. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for my family right now, so I don't have time to find fucking strangers on Instagram.
That's me. That's why I can't mess with Instagram right now. I don't have time to figure it all out and find the right people and do all that. I've already got enough people on my Facebook.
Exactly. And I do make sure I don't forget about my Facebook, because my Facebook people are where I get most of my business. I've gotten very few people from Instagram so far. No matter how many stories I put up every day, no matter what I share, it just has not converted people. So if something else is working for you, you do not have to have multiple social media platforms. You do not have to have an Instagram. You do not have to do anything beyond Facebook. If Facebook's what you're comfortable with, stick to it. I'm giving it a shot because it seems to be where a lot of people are having success right now. So I figured it's worth a shot. In a year, I may decide, damn, I wasted a lot of money on that Instagram following because it's a bunch of crazy weird dudes from Israel and Syria and wherever else, or weird dudes that send me hey sexy and the bikini emoji. Or it could turn into great things. Who knows?
It can't hurt.
Yeah. It does. It has given me followers that are legit women who are in my niche, but I have to go through. There's about 150 people a day. I have to go through and say, weed man, you're not my niche. Sorry. I gotta unfollow you.
Oh, they follow for you and then go back and unfollow anybody that doesn't follow you back, right?
Yes, because right now I'm at 3,500 followers and I'm only following 766.
Yeah,
And
I go through en masse unfollow people.
The nice thing about the unfollow thing that they do is that when I log into Instagram, it's mostly the people I have chosen to follow before I started with this company. So when I'm scrolling through the Instagram feed, it is people that I don't follow. My Instagram is very separate from my Facebook. So it's not a lot of people that I know personally. So those are people that I purposely followed so I can stay engaged with them and what they're posting.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I also go back and unfollow anybody who posts the same crap on Facebook as they do Instagram.
That's me. But I also have two different audiences. So that's why I do it. That's why you see it from me.
Yeah, but you know your friend who posts the same picture of her kid in both places.
Yeah.
That's cool. She's not an Instagram person. No big deal.
So the other thing that go ahead, Alicia.
I was just gonna say my Instagram is linked to my Facebook, so whatever I post in Instagram automatically posts to Facebook, and that's actually
how. If you have two separate audiences, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's how I got acclimated to Instagram because I didn't use it. I had it forever and never used it, and then I linked it to my Facebook and started playing around with it.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful though, because if you post your picture from Instagram to Facebook, it goes to your Instagram album, and if you post every picture that way, they don't show up on if you post 2 pictures today using Instagram, they'll just dump to your Instagram and your captions lost because they dump to your Instagram album. So that's not the end of the world, but it is something to consider to share it, like go to Facebook and post it separately.
Yeah, and what Facebook was doing for a long time, I don't know about their updated algorithm, but what they were doing for a long time was that if you were posting to your Facebook via a different app, because they used to have things where you could time out posts to your wall, and now with Instagram, that it would automatically shoot it down further in the news feed. So a lot of people weren't seeing it. I don't know.
I still don't think I think it does impact your affinity. So if you go into Instagram and share separate, I've noticed it does it differently, but you have to be really careful because it's dumping it into an album, and when you upload a picture directly into that album, it does change the affinity to whatever the affinity of that album kind of is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's also about quality, guys. If you're quality posting, Because I've seen things from my cousin. She puts up something and a million people comment and like. That pops up in the first thing in my news feed, and it says posted to Instagram. So it really is not about how many times you're posting. It's not about where you're posting it from. It's about the quality of your post. Are you sharing something? Are you interacting with people on your post? Are you eliciting something where people are going to engage? You're eliciting a reaction or response from people. That's what it's about. Do you guys have any other questions?
I have a quick question about the challenge, the bonus group. Are the new ones, they just going to start with 21-day fix, right? They're not going to like jump straight to 21-day fix extreme with all of us.
They're going to do a prep week next week in their own group, and then they'll dump into Priority Me Elite. But the workouts for 21-day fix and 21-day fix extreme are the same name. So I don't think it really impacts anything.
Okay.
And there'll be plenty of people that cannot bump up to extreme.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right page there.
I'm silent on, yeah, Ingrid, we know you're silent on Facebook, girl. We love you.
It took me and the girls 2 hours.
Brittany, we can hear you, girl.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording because I think we're probably about finished.
Yeah.